Hi guys, my name is Pip Coombs. This is my debut novel, The Hunted, and it's available everywhere now, the Book Depository, Kindle, Amazon, Apple Books. Today we're going to talk a little bit about cover design and interior layout, and I'm going to review two products that I used while creating The Hunted, and that is the book design template and Vellum. Now, it goes without saying that this information is more directed at people who are looking to write and publish self-published books. Generally, authors that are traditionally published don't get a huge amount of say in their cover art or their interior layout. So hopefully, if you're looking to write a book and self-publish, you find some of this information useful. Now, there are loads of different ways you could go about getting a cover. There are even free options. If you have photography and Photoshop skills, you can actually go about making your own cover art. But given that I am significantly tech challenged, I am not going to provide any advice at all about going down that route. Sorry. If you do a Google search, you'll even find companies that will do your cover art for around $150 to $200. The only thing I would say about those covers is that you get what you paid for. And while you might love that cover and while it might totally suit your needs, you've got to remember that $150 to $200 of a graphic designer's time is not going to get you something particularly unique, nor are you going to get a lot of flexibility from them in terms of making adjustments to the cover if there are things you want to tweak. When I was looking at cover art, I found the covers in the $150 to $200 range were really very same. And for me, your cover is something that people are absolutely going to judge. Some people will decide whether they buy your book or not based on how they feel about the cover. So it is one of the areas where it's actually really worthwhile spending money to get a decent cover. But then it's impossible to find a cover that appeals to everybody. So at the end of the day, you do need to make some choices with a cover art in relation to your budget and also what appeals to you and people who usually read your genre of books. I've heard heaps of great things about a company called 8 Pages, but I personally haven't used them. I used 99 Designs. There's huge numbers of artists of all different kinds available on 99 Designs, and you can go through and have a look at previous work that they've done. I used a designer called Kerry Ellis, and that was under $1,000. I want to say that it was about $850, but I can't remember off the top of my head. The really nice thing about that was Kerry gave me a number of designs. I was able to tweak things that I wanted to change. I was able to add more detail where I wanted to add, and she was so patient. So I had some interior issues, which I will tell you about soon, which adjusted the page number a number of times, and so she had to go back and change the file to adjust so that the cover was the right size for the number of pages. But also the fact that she works and does heaps of work with authors and cover design meant that when I said that I wanted to publish through Ingram Spark, she knew exactly what I needed and what format I needed the files in to be able to upload them to Ingram. So from my perspective, what was really important with cover art was because the Phoenix series is the first in a series of books, I wanted the books to have a cohesive look across all 6 books that linked them together and that had elements that linked the story, and Kerry was able to do that for me. So because I paid a little bit more for the service, I was able to ask for things like specific design on the spine. So I was able to ask for like this area here to be used to reflect the fact that in this story they live in an island called Lanhyvelia, and it has 6 seasons, and so those 6 seasons will be represented on the spine of each of the books. So the first one is spring. What I discovered along the way with cover design is that you're better not doing anything about it until you're almost at the point where you need a cover. So yes, they take time to create, and so you need to allow for that, and you need to allow for time to make amendments and changes as need be. But I wasted a lot of Kerry's time because I started the process too early, and I feel awful about that. But make sure you've got your ISBNs, your barcodes, your back of the book description, and you need to have your page numbers all set in stone before you go to the cover designer. Otherwise you waste a lot of their time, or at least go in and say, this is where I'm up to. I've done final edit. I'm just doing the interior now, and I'm thinking that the word count is roughly XYZ, and I'm in the process of getting ISBNs and books, so that they know what to leave out and they know how long a process this is likely to be. Needless to say that I have flagged the second book in the series with Kerry as needing a cover in the next month or so, but because it still has one more edit to go through with the editor, and then I need to edit it again and make sure that I'm happy with everything, and then I need to do the interiors and get the ISBNs and everything, I haven't yet commissioned the second cover to be done, because I don't want to waste any more of her time like I did last time, but it's a learning process. The formatting was a major drama for me. So I ummed and ahed for a little while as to whether I would just get somebody else to do it for me. And the reason I ummed and ahed about that is because I am tech challenged. So I might have already said this before on another video, but as soon as I opened my new laptop, I poured Coke all over it. I destroyed 3 cameras in 18 months. I get screen of death from my computer, well, not from my current computer, but my old computer all the time. I pretty much can't function in a world with technology without my best friend Mac helping me. It's just not possible. But at the end of the day, what I learned in my 9-to-5 job, where I actually own a business and have employees and things like that, is that some things are better for you to do and some things are better for other people to do. And sometimes it is better to delegate tasks to other people, either because your time would be better spent doing other things, or because that's not your strength. So cover design and that sort of thing, not my strength. So I delegated that one out. And look, interiors are the same, 100% not my strength, because it requires use of technology. But there are going to be 6 books. So if I get someone else to make the covers and I get someone else to do the interiors, whatever that costs, I have to multiply by 6, or however many books there are in your series. So you need to consider that. And when you look around on YouTube, you'll see heaps of self-published authors saying that they were able to format the interior of their book without too much hassle. And so I decided that that was one of the things that I needed to learn to do to cost cut, and because there were going to be other books and at some point I'd have to acquire some skill somewhere. And so I tried. So the first, I looked at a whole bunch of reviews for different things. I looked at bunches of different websites, and in the end, I bought the book design template, and you can either buy access to a template for a single use, sort of single publication, or for multiple publications. And I went for multiple publications because I thought, you know, I don't want to buy this again, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and let's just get on with this and get this show on the road. And that was possibly a mistake. So what I will say about Book Design Template, which is a website where you can go and you can see a whole bunch of different templates, is that they have some really nice templates. And the book, once it was put together, looked really nice on the inside. There were a few issues which I didn't love, but yeah, I could make my peace with them. But generally, like, the chapter headings were really nice, the layout was nice, it formatted into the file required for paperback uploading onto Ingram without issue. But trying to create an EPUB file was something that made me want to claw my eyes out. Now, I tried contacting their customer service, and to be fair, it was around the end of the year, and I was happy to give them leeway for maybe they had shut down for a period, maybe they were on holidays, that's fine. But you know what, people, if you're on holidays, put up an automated reply that says, sorry, we're out of the office until X date. But they weren't out of the office, they just took their sweet ass time to reply. Sometimes they took over 2 weeks to reply, and every time they replied, they never answered my question. And I was really clear with my questions because I wanted to make sure that, you know, this didn't take forever. And I sent screenshots to clarify. But whenever you tried to convert the file into an EPUB for an ebook, like a Kindle, following their exact instructions and using the website and all, it made this weird ebook where you opened it up and instead of having line, end of paragraph, new paragraph, it was like line, half a line, regardless of whether that was the end of the sentence, line, half a line, and I could not fix it. And they were just kind of like, oh, that's weird. We don't know what to do. And then I kind of went, okay, well, I've already paid $150 for the template, the rights to use the template and a template. And so I was like, oh, bugger this. Maybe I'll just ask, you know, for a quote for how much it would be for them to do it for me. And it was like $600. And I was like, but I already spent $150 with you guys. You can't even answer your friggin' emails. So anyway, I have strong feelings about my experience with Book Design Template, which you can probably tell. Anyway, so then I switched to Vellum. And I was hesitant to buy Vellum because it was about $200, and I'm talking Australian dollars. And actually, maybe it was US. I think it might have been US. And then, so which would have made it like 300 Australian dollars. But I was hesitant to spend, you know, more money and have the exact same experience with another template design program. And but again, you know, I just had to rationalize it as otherwise it's going to cost me a fortune to get someone else to format 6 books, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth. It's going to take a lot of time. People, don't look past Vellum. Vellum is glorious. Vellum is wonderful. It took me a day and a half to take my Word file with Book Design Template and get it looking vaguely decent. A day and a half. And I'm not talking like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I'm talking like 9 hours the first day and about 4.5 the second day. That program was not easy to use. Vellum took me 20 minutes. 20 minutes to format the entire thing and save the files so they were good to upload to Lightning Source. They were good to go for an EPUB file, and it was completely drama-free. I had one question while I was doing it that I emailed Vellum, and their customer service was amazing. And not only was their customer service amazing, but in like the hour or two I had to wait for a reply, I had actually already worked out the answer. But they were so good, and they were so clear with their response. And I have to also give a shout out to Joanna Pen from the Creative Pen. I actually used her step-by-step how to format using Vellum video, and it was easy as pie. The only thing I would say is that, I'm trying to find a chapter, that the title pages are not quite as exciting as the Book Design Template one, but I didn't spend a lot of time mucking around with it because at that point I was over it. But I actually think that the general formatting of the book is much nicer and much cleaner than the Book Design Template program, and I'm really happy. I'm sticking with Vellum. I'm not trying anything else. So I would 100% recommend Vellum. It was really, really user-friendly, and if a tech moron like me can work it and have a functional paperback and a functional ebook file out in the world, then you can too. And I don't want to shit on the Book Design Template too much because, you know, that's someone's business and they've worked hard for it, but they've got some improving to do. Vellum were really wonderful, and I can't recommend them highly enough. It's probably important to say, because my opinions are so polar opposite and so strong, is that I have not been paid for this review at all. I have not been rewarded for it in any way. No one has asked me to do this review. I just have really strong feelings about the Book Design Template and Vellum, and I thought that they might be useful for you if you were looking at possibly buying one of the 2 programs. So once again, this is my debut novel, The Hunted, which is the first book in the Phoenix series. I will be revealing the cover art and the name for the second book in the Phoenix series very, very soon. So make sure you hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on that announcement, and comment below to let me know if you've tried any other interior programs or if you've had any success with any other cover design artists that other people might find useful if they're looking at going through the self-publishing process themselves. And hope to see you soon.